So today we're going to continue working on the horse, finish this part, the lower part, and maybe a little bit up here. And then we'll start working on the straps and all of the accessories. All right, so for that, we're gonna need, for today's project, to finish the project, we're gonna need burnt umber, burnt sienna. This is cadmium orange, just a little bit of cadmium orange, not much. And then black and white. So black and white, I'll put it later on. Okay. I'm going to zoom in on the horse. Okay. So let's start by taking a little bit of burnt umber, tiny bit burnt umber, and it's kind of like a glaze. I'm going to add burnt sienna to this. Actually, my burnt sienna, the one I'm using, is very red. So I'm going to put some here and see if I need, yeah, I'm going to need orange. Let's mix these two together. Orange and burnt sienna. And see. There will be hair over this area here, so I'm not too concerned. I take a little bit of burnt umber and mix it in here so it blends softly. That's good. I'm going to go down a bit to this area here. And I'm going to put a tiny bit of burnt umber in here. So the lower part of the horse has a bit of that kind of a reddish hue to it, but it's not as much as the upper part. So if we add burnt umber, we should be okay. And I'm going to continue with the burnt umber at this point. Just put a bit of, tiny bit of burnt sienna in it. It's good when the color or the paint is wet. because that's nice. It will blend in softly. Highlighting this area a tiny bit. You know, the acrylic dries darker, so we always have to go back and adjust some values. Right, okay. It's a groove in here, so it needs to be darker. You know, the highlights, I'm noticing that the highlights or the lighter orange is where the muscles are out. It's like a face, human face. You know, highlights are where the bones and the muscles or bones are out. And this one here is kind of the same idea. More orange? More orange, yeah. I'm going to take now burnt umber. I'm just going to put the first layer for the legs or the second layer. Only where I see that it needs to be darker, because I'm going to be using black and white over this. Okay, I'm going to stop for a minute and then we'll continue. All right, now let's work on the hooves of the horse, jeez, and and his legs. So now I put a layer of a bit of burnt umber. I'm going to use burnt umber now. Take burnt umber. This is ivory black and white, or any black will do. It doesn't have to be ivory black. I use ivory black usually because I like it has a bit of blue in it. Okay, let's do that. So let's put a bit of darker brown. This is brown mixed with black. Not much, just kind of here and there. You can see on his legs that there are some darker areas. It gives it a bit of movement, a round movement. This is flat right now. A little bit of more. I added tiny bit more of the brown in here. It is a little bit darker, but it's not black brown. It's not dark brown. Okay. Now I'm going back to brown and black. So now I'm going to take a little bit of white, put it in here, and I'm going to put brown as well. So it's a grayish brown. That's perfect. Wipe my brush.
Are the other people on Zoom finding that Lael is frozen, or is it just me?
Not frozen here. She's okay on mine, Margaret.
No? Okay. Okay, no, it's because I'm trying to, I think it's because I'm going through my phone. Okay.
Yeah. This is black and white right now. And I'm going to take, again, gray. I'm going to take white now, put it in that gray, a little bit of white. And I'm going to put a bit of highlights. Let's take more for this one here. There's more here. Yeah. sometimes we'll have to adjust what you see in the reference. You don't have to sometimes paint it exactly the same. Sometimes if you paint it exactly the same, it doesn't work. So adjust, just look at it and see if it makes sense or if it looks good, and take it from there. The reason I'm saying that is just the hoofs right now, what I'm doing here is not exactly the same what I'm seeing in there. But for me, what's important at this point is the light. Okay, that's good. Now, I'm take a little bit of white, put some brown in here, white again. And there's a strong highlight here. Right there. I'm going to let it dry, and if it needs to be highlighted more, I'll do that. And I think it will. I will need to highlight this. Now, while this is drying, I'm going to come here with the same white, brown, mixed with a bit of gray. Actually, I'm going to change my brush to a smaller one, round, small one. White and brown. And I'm going to come here and add a light. Very gentle touch. Don't press too hard. You don't want hard. You don't want that. It's too white. You don't want it to show too much. Okay. Putting a bit of water in here. Every day at the same time. Okay. All right, that's good. While I'm doing this, I'm going to be taking a tiny bit of more brown, mix tiny bit of burnt sienna. Any part that looks too white, if I'm highlighting, I can leave it. And then once it's dry, I can always glaze it. So if this is like too white, what I'm doing right now is too white, I can keep that white line, don't remove it. And by the time it's dry, when it's dry completely, I can put over it a thin layer of burnt sienna, and it'll be perfect.
This one really works.
Yes. It's great. Good. This is dry. So I can go back and give that this part here a bit of more highlights. Some negative painting to clean up in here and fix shape. Right. Start. Okay, for this part of the hair, the mane, the head, I mixed brown and black, at least for the first layer. All right, let's take this part off. And that's why it's cute, because this is really nice and light. I don't want to make it darker. Okay, now let's go back. Black, brown brush. A little bit more black here. And go back to black and brown. Darken this area a bit with brown and black. So I want to more brown than black. Okay, and this one is good. I think we're good. We don't need more than that. Okay. Now, I'm gonna start working on the straps. So it's dark brown, so black and brown for the first layer. I'm gonna zoom in. All right, so dark brown, and I'm gonna put this first layer. So what I have underneath is I'm painting over a pencil crayon, white pencil crayon. And I'm going to simplify those straps. There is a lot of detail, buckles, and I'm going to simplify all this. Sometimes when I use pencil crayon, I know I'm going to be painting over it, I use watercolor, water-based pencil crayon, so I can paint over it. I don't have to. Acrylic covers a lot of things, so I don't have to do that. But if it's there, I use it. This is almost black. It's not, it's brown. But because it's over a black or a brown shirt, you can't see it. But once I start highlighting, it'll be fine. Okay, there's a little bit of a detail here. This strap stops right there, like that. And then it continues. And it's very hard to see right now. You'll see it more once we start highlighting. Although there are so many straps around, but this is what makes it interesting. Those details. Okay. This is just brown and white. And I'm just going to take a tiny bit of white, put it in the brown, and give it a bit of a shape, a little bit. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush, and I'm going to start highlighting. So now with the highlights, I'm going to mix brown, a little bit of black, and my burnt umber, white. This way it's more like a grayish brown. Okay, I'm gonna think this is good. This is mid-tone. Now I'm gonna come here, give it a bit of a highlight. I'm gonna take a little bit more white, put it in the same mixture I'm using, and I'm gonna highlight a little bit more. Let's say here. Okay, more highlights here. Don't take it all the way down. No need. There's a buckle here. I'm not sure I'm going to put it, but for now, I'm just going to do this overlap these. Good. Again, highlight over here. This is brown, black, and white. I'm just cleaning up in between with burnt sienna. Now I can see it better. Right, okay, again, I'm going to take black and white and brown and maybe give it a bit of more highlight. Tiny bit of black, tiny bit. Okay, a little bit more white. Wow, it's too much. Let's see. It's good. That's very good. Good, good. I like this color. Let's do a tiny, tiny bit of white with the same color. Mix it well. And highlight here, a little bit here, there. Just makes the straps look a little bit more shiny. Oh, it's a lot more detail in here, but that's okay. This is like congested with detail in there, so I'm just gonna ignore it. All right, that's good. Now, if I want to put that buckle, which is a gray or silver, I'm gonna take a little bit of black and white. Maybe a little bit, another one. Down here. It's optional, you don't have to put it. Okay, let's move on. Now, let's move on to this one. This one. Same. I'm going to take the same black and white or brown and white, and then I'm adding a bit of black. So now let's take that and highlight. And again, if I find that my highlights are too strong, that's okay. I can always glaze it darker, and glaze it darker with brown. It'll be perfect. This is more like gray brown. Now this, if we're looking at the reference, it turns to a point where it looks like a thin line. I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to do it all the way wide. Then it stops here. This is where sometimes when I mentioned that I change the detail. If this was bigger size, I would have probably done it just the way it is. but it's a small size. I'm working on an 8x10. Any detail is really small, very hard to nail. Let's take a bit of brown and adjust this. Oh, that's good. Perfect. Now, same. I'm going to be taking the same colors I've been using here, put some over this side. I'm going to take white, more white in my brown and black. This is where the highlight is. Oh, this is too strong. Jeez. And I'm going to stop on an angle, and this is what I see. The light stops here at an angle. Again, more white into my brown. This is going to dry darker. I'm simplifying what I'm seeing. There's a lot more detail in there, but I'm simplifying this. More highlight right here. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Let's go back to this. This is a brown. I highlight it a bit. It becomes darker here. And darker at the bottom. I'm taking just burnt umber, only burnt umber. And what I'm going to do is put burnt umber here, burnt umber over the whole thing. This is like a glazing right now. I'm glazing what I have. And go back to the highlighted burnt umber with white and black, and just give it a shiny look here. Okay, this is drying darker, a little bit more white into my brown. Because there's a beautiful light here, right there. All right, that's good. Okay, let's move on. I'm going to bring some black into my brown. And let's do this. Now, take white, put it in, filter it down a bit so you can control the brush and the paint. Wipe my brush. I'll be cleaning all of this negative painting in a minute. Okay, let's do this. This is the side of the strap. All right, at one point it twists around so you can see it more. And then it twists back. So I have leather that's twisted. We really don't have to do this. We don't have to follow exactly what we're seeing. So if I find that this is not looking good, I can just always change it. All right, let's take a little bit more white. This is a really thin line. And in order to do this thin line with a brush, I have a good round brush. It's not expensive. It doesn't mean it's expensive. It's just good. And my paint is wet. And I'm just using the tip of the brush. Right. I'm going to be adjusting a bit, going back to black and brown. Right. I'm going to move on to the big part right here. And it's the same colors. It starts with a highlight right here. It's not highlighted. I'm not going to highlight it right now. Strong. I'm just going to go slowly with this. So for me to be able to see the strap between this and the band all around, I need to have the right values. Okay. This is a grayish brown. I'm not doing this just because I want to be accurate. I just want to change the color from the brown that's on the straps into a more of a gray here. And I'm highlighting slowly. Gonna go darker a bit, slowly. Into more of a black here. Okay. Let's move on to this. Again, some brown, a little bit of black in my brown, and I'm going to go over this here. I'm going to take a little bit of black and put more black into my brown. Come over here. This has a little bit more shadow in there. And at this point, take white. Mix it with some brown. Clean my brush and give this a bit of detail. All right. I know there's too much highlight in here, but that's okay. I can always glaze it and make it smaller, but I need this for now. There's oh, okay. There's a buckle, not a buckle, round detail here, like a ring, I should say. And it's okay. So it's here. Oh yeah. All right, my brush is a little bit dry. I will be toning this down a bit. I'm going to take brown with white and put the piece of leather right there. Not see it because the horse, because I have white over here, I'm going to remove all that. Now, I'm going to tone down this, glaze it, but not now. I'm going to leave it for now. I need this to dry. Let's finish this and we move on to this part. Brown and white. All of this will be adjusted with negative painting once it's dry. I will be adjusting all of these details and cleaning up. All right, let's take black and brown. Give the strap a bit of thickness. You take white and brown. I'm gonna come here. And reduce the thickness of this leather strap in here. Negative painting. Right. Same. Take some burnt sienna. Clean up this. Part. Which can be done after, but why not? All right. Let's let all of this area dry and then let's do this part. Same idea. Same thing. Okay. Brown. This is burnt umber and white. I'm going to take black. A little bit of black. Put it in here. What a mess in here. Okay. let's put a simple. Although there's nothing simple about this. Wonder how long it takes them to prepare a horse with all these straps. Shadows. Okay. I will be again adjusting all of this negative painting with the color of the horse. So for now, just gonna give it a buckle, black and white. All right, somewhere here. I don't really have to be accurate. Right, okay, let's see. All right. Some brown. So I have a kind of a highlight in here. And for me to see what's happening and adjust, I need to adjust the colors from negative painting. So I need to fix all of these, the horse colors over here. Let's take some brown, using brown and burnt sienna. So burnt umber and burnt sienna. And let's clean up all of this so we can see what's happening in here and give it a bit of the right shape there. So see, I can see now that I should be adjusting this strap, make it narrower. I did right now. All I have to do is take, it's very thin. It's going to be a very thin line. So I don't really need to do anything. I just took black and I'm going to take that and put it here. Perfect. Let's go back to the highlights I was using. A little bit more highlight here. So I'm going to take a bit of more white into my brown and black. Give that a little bit more highlight here, here, right here. A little bit right there. Oops. There. Perfect. Right. Okay. A little bit here. So it doesn't look like exactly the same everywhere. It gives it some movement. Some part of the leather is higher. So it will catch more light. And of course, oh yeah, that's too much. Of course, with acrylics, it dries darker. Now, at this point, I have the main everything here done. So it's up to me now if I want to add a design here or not. Like just keep it just the way it is, or play around with the colors, with the design. So it's just now optional. Do a bit of cleaning up here. Honestly, we don't have to have a specific shape in certain areas. Just let it, if it looks good, leave it. And I'm just going to clean up a little bit here. Oh, a little bit white. Okay. Eventually, I will go through everything and I will just get rid of these white lines that I see here. Make sure that I don't see them. They're not there. Clean up. And we're good. This part of the sleeve needs to be a bit darker. Okay. Okay, so now should be okay. I'll probably fix this part, which is a little bit too light. But all in all, it looks good. All right. Brown, some black, and burnt sienna. And just kind of come here, give this part make it a little bit darker right there. That's good. This part needs work. This part right there. It looks unfinished. All right, let's do that. Let's put a very thin movement here. Lines that look like it would look like straps or rope or detail, an accessory in here. And now at this point, I'm going to take a bit of white into my brown and black and highlight it. All right, that's good. Now I'm going to take only black. I'm going to give it a bit of a shadow. And leave it like this. That is good. That's much better than before. At least it looks it's finished. Okay, it's done. We're done. All right, this project is done. It was really fun. We are going to move on to a new one, new project.